Thou hast wipeth the sweat from thine brow, and we are back with episode Pure Heroin, part 2 of the season finale. Sweet Vicious, let's dive right in. So, we see Tyler sitting, and we hear a voiceover asking him, well, telling him, we saw you on security footage going in there the night your brother disappeared. He goes, when he didn't show up to the bar, I went to see where he was and he wasn't there. Well, then why does your blood match the blood we found at the scene of the crime? Me and Carter got into a fist fight because I felt like he wasn't taking the charges seriously. I may hate what he does, but I swear I didn't kill him. Like, it's so sad. It's so sad. So then we see Jules come and visit Tyler, and they're talking, and he's like, they wanted to subpoena my phone, but I wouldn't let them. And she goes, wait, they wanted your phone? Give them your phone. Jules, it's crazy. Some of the text messages, I know, but give them your phone. Just give them your phone. Do you trust me? Well, yeah, but, give me the phone. Okay. You know, that's not how it went, but that's how it went in my head, to recap it. So, they, O and J, Ophelia and Jules, decide to frame someone else for murder so Tyler can get out of jail, which I think is so brilliant. Let's frame an already fucked up person and get them put in jail. I like it. So, Kennedy gets her task from the vigilante. They give her a whole envelope because Jules and Ophelia talk about the fact that Nate is still getting honored and he's gonna get an award and all this, and how this shit isn't fair, and how, look, Kennedy wants us to fuck him up anyway, so we might as well help. So they decide that they're gonna play this up, and how they're gonna do Nate's takedown isn't how they did everyone else's. They're gonna really make it special. Like, scare the shit out of him, make him feel unsafe, take everything from him like he took everything from Jules, and I fucking loved it. So that's when we see Kennedy get her task from the vigilante, and it's called Intimidate. So somehow they have to intimidate Nate into thinking he's in danger without telling him that he's in danger, which I thought was the coolest thing. I love the envelope and the gold paper. So official. Then we see, after Jules texts Ophelia and says, your turn, we see Ophelia then text everyone on campus and text Nate. But Nate's text says, we're coming for you. Could you imagine that? Walking out of class, everybody's phone's going off, and then they're all staring at you, and then you stare at your phone, and your phone says, we're coming for you. Like, that's how I would feel. So, we then see the girls find someone to frame this guy who's like a murderer rapist, and how he has been out and his crime span at least 20 years, how he comes from a wealthy family, and that is the reason why he's never been put behind bars, because his influence and money and all of these things has kept him out. So I love, because they play rock, paper, scissors on who's gonna go plant the evidence in this man's house. Because the reason, not only do they have to go plant the evidence, but they also have to find like his router numbers and things like that so they can hack, do that whole thing and make it seem as if this man really did murder Carter. So Kennedy and her friends do what is on their little intimidate task and scare him by having Fiona and that sweet Asian girl, God, what was her name? I know her last name was Mrs. Cho, but, you know, fuck, what was her name? Anyway, they go, oh, hey, Nate, are you nervous? Yeah, the vigilante, I heard he's kind of upset with you. Yeah, don't get attacked. Bye. I thought this shit was funny. He's just trying to get to class, and they're all like, are you scared? You should be scared. I'd be scared. Like, somebody's coming for you. Oh, my God. I love it. It's so good. So then we see Tyler finally getting out of jail. Oh, Ophelia, before that, Ophelia sent the text to frame the guy. You see the cops sitting there talking, and the one cop's like, are you sure he should even be back there? And the bald guy is like, I know you grew up with him, but it's always the people you least expect. Then his phone goes off, and we see it's a text message, and oh, shit is in motion. And then we see Tyler get out, and the best fucking scene is, it's so cinematic. It's like a fucking love story. He comes out and they're just like, mwah, 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 hug, I missed you. Oh my God, are you okay? Did anyone beat you? You know. So Tyler's all like, they got another guy, and Jules is like, this is good, you know. So then we shoot to Nate laying in bed. You know, Dylan McTee, I know you'll never see this, but that body is everything. Yes. Okay. So we see Nate sleeping, and he wakes up really quickly, and he looks on the side of his bed on the ground, and he sees Polaroids of him sleeping scattered across the carpet, which is creepy as fuck. Could you imagine waking up in the middle of the night, fucking Polaroids everywhere? First, I would think, how in the hell did you get in my house? And why would you put the Polaroids on the floor? I got a vacuum. Like, why would you do? Anyway, it's not where your head should go. But then, as he's holding the Polaroid, he looks over to the wall and it says, sweet dreams. Bitch, I'm not sleeping in this room no more, okay? Sweet dreams? What dreams? Who's sleeping? What? But you know, Nate thinks he's a badass, so he doesn't take it seriously. We then see Ophelia standing outside of a building, and we see Nate texting and walking. This motherfucker done got bodyguards. Really? So you can rape women and hold them down against their will, but you can't walk around campus by yourself. Anywho, then we see Nate's frat bros all standing in a room going, we're standing by Nate, we're with Nate, we're not gonna run, this guy can't scare us. Then all of their phones start to go off, and then all of them start getting different mysterious phone calls. The one who was all like, we'll stick by Nate, gets a phone call from a professor asking him, did he purchase answer keys? I mean, their shit is getting rocked. Loving it. So then, Nate, we hear that Nate gets kicked out of Omega Theta. So now we've reached the best thing that could possibly ever happen. This man getting kicked out of Omega Theta. Oh my God. Then the girls find out where Nate is after we find out that he's gotten kicked out of Omega Theta. We find out that he's at the pizza shop. And so they decide now is the opportune time to fuck him up. So they get up, they go to this place, and they get ready to beat ass, right? So Nate is standing there, the lights go off, he's like, hello? So then we see Jules pop up, and she's like, hey, well, not Jules, like Vigilante Jules. And then we see Vigilante Ophelia pop out, and she's all like, don't start the party without me. But then Nate is like, oh, surprise, bitches! And then more guys start to come out, and it's like, oh, fuck. Oh, fucky fuck. What y'all gonna do, son? Two options. Run a fight. Which one we gonna do? You know which one we chose, y'all. We about to fight. We about to fight. It's gonna be a fight scene. Oh my God. That was the best fucking fight scene. 2 bitches against 8 motherfuckers. Oh my God. That's some shit that needs to be in a movie. Loved it. So then, after we see the girls do all this kicking ass and everything, we see Harris go, holy shit, and he caught the whole thing. So then when they get back to the record store and they're talking about everything, they notice that somebody was missing. They notice that Miles was missing from the whole thing. So now they have to find him. They go find Miles. And, oh, and guys, if my camera cuts off, it's because it probably overheated. But anywho, I should probably cut it off and wait till it's done. Yeah. Hello! So, after the girls beat the shit out of 8 guys, Harris sees them. They're back at the record store and they're having a conversation about how Jules feels that they got, well, I wouldn't say gypped, but beat at their own game because they weren't expecting him to have these guys randomly pop out and want to fight for him and all this other shit. But then Ophelia points out the fact that there was one guy missing, Miles. So they go and find Miles. And he is sitting in his bedroom under a Snuggie that says fart house instead of frat house. And he's getting crossfaded, minding his business. And the vigilante's come in his room. And he's so high that he think it's the weed. It's not the weed. These bitches is real. And I love when he throws a beer can. And Jules catches it. And she throws it. But my most favorite thing about this whole fucking scene was the fact that Return of the Mac is playing in the background. Oh my God. Return of the Mac. It is Return of the Mac. Oh my God. Okay, anyway. If you don't know Return of the Mac, come on, y'all. That fucking song choice. I love that song choice. So, you know, they're asking him questions and he's drunk and high, so he can't really pay attention, and he's being a little bit of a goof. And then he starts repeating everything that Jules says, and she's like, stop it, stop that. Oh my God, sidebar. So her and Ophelia take a sidebar, and they're like, clearly we can't get anything out of him while he's like this. They don't even notice that he done creeped up, and he's holding his blanket to his mouth like, what are we gonna do? Oh my God. Oh no, get away. Oh, okay. So they're like, you know, what the fuck are we gonna do? We can't handle it like this. So then we hear Miles utter the words when Jules says, how are we gonna do a Nate takedown now? Miles goes, just ask Shelby. Who's Shelby? And then he goes, just find Shelby. And goes to sleep. So the girls go back to Ophelia's house and they're like, who the fuck is Shelby? And Ophelia's like, you've been friends with him the whole time. And Jules is like, yeah, if there was another girl, I feel like I'd know about it. Oh, and Ophelia goes, yeah, I'm already ahead of you. Cross-reference all of his Facebook friends with the name Shelby. So then they find the Shelby. Then they find out something fucked up by their reactions. Woo, because then they cross-reference her name with messages and text messages between her and Nate. And, alright. And so then we shoot back to Miles sleeping in his chair, and we see that he gets an envelope and says your help is needed. I don't know. So then Evan tells Ophelia the reason that he was so upset is because the girl he took out, who we saw a couple episodes ago, was sexually assaulted, and he keeps checking in on her to make sure she doesn't hurt herself because the school somehow persuaded her into not going to the police because of this vigilante. So you mean to tell me y'all give a shit more about rapist boys than the girls who are getting raped? Oh, okay. Okay, that just made me so fucking mad. Like, first of all, you can never persuade me into not telling just because people get their ass beat. That ain't got shit to do with me. How about they not rape people and then there wouldn't be a vigilante? Ugh. So then, while snorting lines of coke, Nate starts to run his mouth. Miles goes, I was always on your side, man. He's like, yeah, I'm a god at this school. They need me on that field. Yeah, man. Yeah, you the shit. So then Nate goes on not only with the he's a god thing, he talks about how the dean's an idiot, how he probably never even read the file, says that girls walk around in these tight skirts and these tight dresses asking for it, and then when you want to do it, they change their minds. And then Miles goes, yeah, like you remember Shelby? Yeah, he was like, I haven't heard that name in forever. See? Because secretly, 9 times out of 10, these girls want it. And then the one time they don't, it's my word against theirs. Then he goes, you know Shelby was the biggest slut in her grade? Then she's going to tell the whole school I raped her. So when the girls made the face, it was because they must have found some fucked up messages about the fact that Nate's first rape victim was Shelby. We learned in that moment that this is not his first rodeo. But then I forgot what the statistic is of when a rapist rapes once, he's gonna do it again and he'll have at least 6 victims by the time I forgot what age it was that I read online, but shit is nuts. Okay, so we find out that he raped a girl in high school named Shelby, but this is my problem. You remember earlier when Miles was running his mouth in a pizza shop, how could Jules ruin his life? This is what pisses me off. So if we've been down the rape road before Miles, why on earth would you stick by this man? Now, in high school, you know, I'm gonna give you that one. You were young, dumb, and just, you know what? No, I don't want to give you that one either. But you know what? For the sake of this argument, I'm gonna give you that one. You probably thought, that girl's a slut. You know, rape culture, slut shaming, it's very real. So, you thought she's lying. So you mean to tell me, after this happened, and after Jules reported him for rape, the first thought in your mind wasn't, holy shit, we're going down this road again. I mean, the first time, but the second time, come on, Miles. Come on. Like, yes, I liked Miles towards the end, but when we find out in that moment that they've had this whole, she says you raped you, man. You know, we've been down this hole. This girl said you raped her road and you were still his friend. Okay. I understand why they're still friends, but I just, you know. Okay. So then, we also hear in that moment, after we find out that Nate has raped before, he says how he's going to go on stage in front of all those people and say he's Nate Griffin. And if he wants it, he's going to take it. Okay, then. Then we go to the award ceremony and we see the dean make a speech and how he's an amazing player, and then a video goes up. Then we see the video get tampered with and it starts to play everything that Nate said to Miles the night before. And they're yelling, shut it off, shut it off. Twitter is going off. Oh my God, the vigilante speaks. This is the vigilante. What is happening? Oh my God, Nate, you're disgusting. I hate it when you first shoot to the ceremony, you see these girls holding up these signs and just screaming and cheering for this man. Oh my God. But they're playing it back and everybody's getting to see his true colors. And then I love because you see both Jules and Ophelia, well, you don't see them, but their blacked out bodies going, we believe you. Especially when you hear Nate say, I told Jules nobody was going to believe her. Then they say, we believe you. And they're playing a remix to You Don't Know Me. That's my shit. Ugh. And then everybody gets a text message about the new email address that you can go to email Sweet Vicious if you've been sexually assaulted, if you know someone who's been sexually assaulted or raped. I am loving it. So then we see Nate get whisked away, and I love because Miles salutes him like, yeah, I did it, bitch. So good. Oh my God. So then we see Jules and Kennedy have a moment where Kennedy is finally starting to reveal how she feels guilty for missing Nate and how she feels like this will define her as the girl who was dating the guy who raped her best friend and she had no idea. And I love because Jules tells her how this doesn't define her and that it's perfectly fine to miss him because you loved him. That was your man. Like, that was your everything. So this is fine. And then I love because she says, what would you say to me if the roles were reversed? And I love the one line that says, nothing can break you unless you give it permission. Powerful as fuck. And then they hug and it's so lovely because I love how Kennedy says how she's gonna be there for Jules, stand right by her side, but then also, you know, it's a flip side. But you need me too. It's not just a one-way street. You need me too. And I really loved how they showed that dynamic. So then we see Harris walking to Ophelia in the record store and reveals that 26 cases of rape and sexual assault don't get handled, get dismissed, or just don't get checked at all. And he says how he wants in and how he wants to be Charlie. And she's like, no, you're Bosley. Because, like, let's be real. Harris, you're Bosley. Like, Harris isn't Charlie at all. Like, at all. Dude, you're Bosley. Just deal with it. Then we see Tyler and Jules laying in bed together, and Tyler says, I love you. They exchange I love yous. It's so nice. Then we see Harris deciding that he's gonna work for the DA and he's gonna be the man on the inside so they can constantly know what's happening, since he's gonna be a part of their little vigilante crew. Then we see Evan get a note from Sweet Vicious that his help is needed, and he shoves it in his book bag and he tells Ophelia, it seems like something important, you know, don't know yet. Then we shoot to Tyler in the garage cleaning up the rest of Carter's stuff as he's on the phone with Jules and he's about to leave. Then we see the camera pan down to a piece of pink cloth, y'all. Now you're probably wondering, Tyler, what's the significance of this pink cloth? You remember the night they buried Carter? And after they buried him, they went back to the auto body shop to clean, right? But do you remember in the cemetery when the shovel was laying on top of the book bag? And when she pulled it from under it, there was a hole? Clean better. Clean better. Anyway, then we see Nate coming back to his room, and we see the dean's son sitting there on the couch. Now, if you remember this motherfucker, this was the moment when Ophelia fucked around, chased after him, stabbed him in the leg, and everything was caught on camera. So he says, it seems that we have a common enemy. And just smiles at him. You know what that means, y'all? Villains. Villains. We getting villains. We gonna get some people to fuck it up. We getting villains. We getting villains. We getting a season 2 and we getting villains. Villains. We getting villains. Well, we don't know if Sweet Vicious has been renewed for a season 2, but with cliffhangers like that, Evan's note, the pink cloth, the boy going, we have a common enemy, like, but you know what I didn't understand? When Nate goes back to his room, wait, why is he even allowed to be in there if he got kicked out of Omega Theta? Is it because he's, like, so high powered that they just not gonna make him move out? Or what is that? I don't get that. That's one thing I just didn't get. Like, I know it's the tiniest thing with all these fucking cliffhangers in front of our faces, but I just didn't understand why he would be allowed back in that house if he got kicked out of the fraternity. Whatever. But that is it, y'all. I loved this show. I love this season. Jen, you killed it. Like, I was never more happy to review a show that not only had amazing substance in it, but it was telling you a story. We all either know a Jules or are a Jules. We either all have known a Nate or met a Nate, or, you know, it's just so many things where it's so real. It's tangible. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, even though it's a TV show, you genuinely can't make these things up because they're happening right now all over across the world in different college campuses around the country. Girls are not reporting it. Guys are not reporting their sexual assaults either because of this toxic masculinity and this dumbass thought process that men can't get raped as well. So we need MTV. We need Sweet Vicious. This isn't one of those fly-by-night shows. Like, it needs to be a show that we see on our TVs. Those actors, they bust their ass to give us stories that are so relatable. I felt like Eliza Bennett's portrayal of Jules was amazing, and Dylan McTee playing one of the best villains right now on TV, on MTV at least. Like, I loved it. I felt like they all deserved awards for their acting, and I was so happy with the first season, and I cannot wait until it gets renewed for season 2. I'm super duper excited. Please put me on the show, Jen. I want to be on the show so bad. But I'm really excited for it to get renewed for season 2 because it better. Because if it doesn't, to quote white chicks, I'm going to write a letter and I'm going to have a bitch fit. I'm having a BF if the show does not get renewed. Mean it. But anyway, I hope you guys love these 2 reviews. I hope you have a safe and wonderful Wednesday. See you guys on Face Mask Friday. I can't believe the show is over, but like I say at the end of all my videos, if no one's told you that you're awesome and that they love you, I think you're awesome and I love you. Peace.